Battery at 1%. I looked at the Earth one last time, before my suit ran out of power. I must admit, lucid dreaming really is as amazing as people say. But after 2 years, I'd like to wake up again. I was born blind, but was lucky enough to have a loving mother who took care of my every need. Imagine the betrayal I felt when a stitch slipped away and a ray of light hit my eye for the first time. So it turns out you can feel everything that happens to your body after death. I suppose I should be flattered my husband still finds me attractive after all these years. All my life, my parents have told me not to open the basement door, but I got curious and disobeyed them. What is that glowing ball in the sky? And why does it hurt my eyes? Out of sheer boredom, I turned on the radio in my kidnapper's basement, only to hear that he had been arrested the day before. I thought they were still searching for me. But then I heard my own voice, saying how much I was glad to finally be found. I was driving down the foggy highway when I blinked, and all the red taillights of the cars ahead of me suddenly vanished in the mist. I haven't seen a single car or exit ramp, and the fog keeps getting thicker. I love to turn up the volume on my favorite songs and sing along. It drowns out the screaming from the root cellar. Turn your head to the side and cough, please. And then the doctor walked in. My family can all remember their past lives. So one day, I told my son I was a girl who was murdered. He grinned and responded, "What are the odds we'd meet again?" Being buried alive was bad enough. Realizing I wasn't alone in my own grave was worse. People always ask how many kids come to my house for trick-or-treating. None of them ever ask how many leave. I kept hearing a strange giggle coming from my TV, regardless of what channel or volume it was on. I never thought to check behind the TV. The pictures I take of others tell 1,000 words. Every one of them is help. I recently taught myself Morse code, but I wish I hadn't. Now the birds peck at my window, warning me that it's coming. Every pet I've owned since I was a kid is buried in my backyard. I've moved 8 times, and they're always there. As I felt the knife run down my skin, I felt oddly happy. Well, it wasn't my skin yet. My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help. I rage quit after being crushed by the final boss for a 9th time in a row. Just before my monitor went dark, I saw my avatar, pounding on the other side of the screen, screaming, "Don't leave me." Yesterday, my parents told me I was too old for an imaginary friend, and that I had to let her go. They found her body this morning. When I finally grabbed her in the darkness, I swam back to the surface. It never occurred to me how fast the ice could freeze over. There was a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone. They delivered the mannequins in bubble wrap. From the main room, I began to hear popping. I'm working the night shift alone tonight. There's a face in the cellar, staring at the security camera. I wake up and everything feels wrong. It's too quiet outside. I look out the window and see everyone standing still, looking at my house. Now, be careful. That line of rock salt is the only thing keeping them out, the man said, welcoming my group into his refuge. Sea salt keeps us out. I always liked this picture of my great-grandmother. Why does she seem closer to the camera than before? For years, we heard the little voices and footsteps of the ghost children in our old farmhouse, and we got used to them. Then one day, they went quiet, which should have been our cue to leave. After the psychic told Mike that he would die of a heart attack, he picked up biking and would do 5-mile rides into town every weekend. But when a car suddenly swerved, coming right at him, with an old man slumped over the steering wheel, he realized with final clarity that it wasn't his heart she'd meant. I sat at my campsite, letting the fire grow bigger and brighter. The fire department couldn't get to my family's house in time.